What's up everybody, and welcome to our Adobe Premiere Pro Basics tutorial. Essentially, the whole idea behind this series is so that when you're done watching these videos, you can create really simple but effective marketing ads for your own company and drive some business. And you can do this with really a beginner's knowledge to Premiere Pro, and it can be very effective. So don't feel like you need to be a professional at this. So let's go ahead and start with just breaking down some of the basics of the things you should know in Premiere Pro. So when you first open it, this is generally what you're gonna see. You got a few things like recent projects to make it easier to open right back up, new project, open projects if you already have one. And actually, throughout the course, I'm actually gonna be creating a small ad for a company called Timberhide Co., which the files will actually be linked out of my Google Drive that you can download and follow along. If you look in the description, you'll find a link to that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with just new projects. So if we click this here, we are gonna have our new project window pop up. A lot of this you don't really need to know. You can explore it a bit, but it's not really important at this time. But what is important is we name our file, because we don't want to build up a bad habit of creating a project without a name and then just having untitled project 1, 2, 5, 6. You don't want that. So Timberhide IG post. We're just gonna name it that for right now. And we're gonna hit OK. And so the first thing that's gonna open up is something similar to this. You might have something like this, it might be a little different. It all depends on your workspace. So all this up here, these are all different workspaces that you can use and completely customize to what type of video you're making. So it can be very helpful. So if you click on it, it'll have different windows because there's so many different things you can do in this program. It can be overwhelming. So I believe if you're opening this for the first time, you'll be under Learning, I believe. And essentially all of these windows can be moved. So I can put it in here and double up, have a full screen. We can have it side by side. You can even have something free floating, right? Whoops. So you can always do that. And you do that by just finding the name of the tab and then just holding down the button, your left click button, and you drag and drop essentially wherever you want it to go. Now, if you mess something up and you don't really like it, don't worry, because you can come in here to Window, and if you find Workspaces, here are all of your workspaces, and you can actually reset to saved layout. And here's the original, actually. So you might see this if you're under Learn. I'm actually going to close this. So some other panels that are very important. So we have Source here, we have Program here. This is essentially what your final project is going to be. This is essentially where you'll get your source material. Then we have Timeline. So this will be your timeline where all of your images, your audio files, everything goes. You got a toolbar here, so you got a slicer, you've got your selection tool, you've got your text tool, hand tool, pen tool. These are different tools that, again, you can also customize that. This right here is gonna be where you drag and drop all of your files to use. So you can create folders, keep everything in order. You can create a sequence, which you're gonna want to anyway. So if we go ahead and click, this is our sequence window. A lot of this you can ignore. Under settings, I'm gonna change this to 1080 by 1080. We like to work in a 1:1 ratio when we're talking Instagram or Facebook. And you can even name your sequences, and you can always change the names later. So what I'm gonna do is you can go into your media browser, and this will be all of your files. So you can find whatever files you're trying to bring into the project. Or if you're like me, I prefer to have my windows open. So I like to have a project folder. So I'm gonna drag and drop these images to this bin. I'm actually gonna rename this bin. And if you can rename this by clicking once and then wait a second, click again, or you can always right click and rename. I'm gonna name it footage. I'm gonna create a new one called music. So we're gonna want music for this too. And I have music files over here. So I'm gonna select all of these and drag and drop as well. And so now I have all my assets right here to do all of my projects. So as I was showing you before with the source, so if we wanted to take like a video and we only want a portion of the video, so let's say we don't want this whole sliver in here, we just want a certain portion of it, we can actually double click here, and now this asset will be brought up to your source timeline. And you can, scroll along and you can watch the whole video, even hear the audio, but you can do an in point and an out point, and then you can drag it all the way down, and there it is now in your program file, which is essentially your final product right here. So as you can see, we're really zoomed in on this image. They are different dimensions than our actual project file. So how would we change this? Well, essentially we need our editing file, or we need our editing panel, which for some reason is not up there. So if you find that there is, you're missing something up here, you can come over to Window, and here is essentially every window you can add, every panel you can add to your project file. So we need effect controls. So here is a very, very important panel. You need to have effect controls. This will get you to everything that you need to be done. If you drop an effect on a layer, it's under effect controls. If you need to move the position, it's right here. If you need to zoom in and zoom out, it's all in here. You need to know this effect controls panel. It's very important. So let's go ahead and we can bring it down to right there, and we can reposition it there. And now we're full in frame of the product that we want to display. So when you have a certain window selected, it will be outlined as well in blue. So you want to make sure that you do have the right window when you're trying to do an action to it, especially once you learn the hotkeys. Now also notice you've got your entire project name up here. So it's not only the name, but it's also where the file is located on your computer. Sometimes it can be hard to find these files, so this is really helpful, as well as a little asterisk right next to it. So when you see this asterisk, that means your project is not saved. So if you close this project, you lose power, it's not saved. So if you want to save it, you can always come over here to File. You'll find Save, Save As Copy. You can also close this project, so you can have multiple projects open and close just the one project you got selected. New projects and sequences all up here as well, even bins. So we're gonna go ahead and save real quick. Another really helpful tip is gonna be come over here to Edit, come down to Preferences, open up your General here, and this is where all of your preferences are. So you can adjust how it looks. You can really get to the nitty-gritty here. Like if you have different audios like headphones, or if you're plugged into monitors or surround sounds, this is where you'll find all that adjusting, even with mics as well. But what I want to show you is your autosave. This is very, very important. If you've ever had this program crash on you after an hour, 3 hours, 8 hours worth of work, you're not getting that back. It is the worst feeling in the entire world to lose that. So it's really helpful to have automatic save on. Trust me, you don't want to lose any work when you're trying to bring in money. When time is money. So make sure that you're automatically saving, and this is a lifesaver. So you can do it every 15 minutes, which I believe is the default. You can do 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and essentially you can have maximum project versions too. So this way, if you have this to 100, you've got 100 different versions of this one project saving over and over again. That can start to get heavy. So I just left it on default, which is about 20, and after 20, it just starts to write over itself, but this needs to be on. Another important part of this auto save feature is it will not start auto-saving until you've done the first save. So if you open up a project, you don't save, it is not auto-saving. So it's really important to open up your project, drag your files in, and then save. That way you've got that first one out of the way, and now every 15 minutes, no matter what happens, your behind is covered. For now, those are the basics that you need to know to get started on Premiere Pro. We're pretty much here and ready to get this project started. So go ahead and join me in the next video where I'm gonna cut some of these images out and we're gonna start to really turn this into a powerful ad for, social media. So if this video helped you, don't forget to hit that like button, leave any questions down in the comment section, and definitely subscribe to the channel. More subscribers will help me create more content just like this. Thanks, guys.